dead, where evil lurks in every shadow, and monsters roam the streets. Mankind's only survival rests in the hands of two Welsh warriors, armed with boomsticks, chainsaws, bad language. These beacons of hope will stop at nothing to obliterate deadites, vampires, psychotic nurses. So, hold tight, strap in, and let the professionals take charge. Otherwise, you're in for a rough, blood-soaked night.
Hey, you right?
I love how stressed you look just before we go live. You're always doing something like.
Well, yeah, no, it's a shame you can see me because I want to seem like I'm like this all the time.
like a deer in headlights. Like.
Yeah, we both like, oh, wait, dude. Hey! You right?
Yeah, not bad, are you?
Yeah, good. Do you like my new studio? Well, new angle.
The angle's good, but what the hell is that superhero canvas, Jenks?
Oh, that's not super. There's pictures of my kids. That's bad, that is. Canva.
Disgusting, Jenks.
Right, let me explain, okay? All my pictures are all glass, and the lights, I got new lights and it's glare and everything, so I switched everything to canvas. My Evil Dead canvas is still in the post, probably come from China. So I bought a Marvel one in B&Q. Only 20 quid. Pretty good. I got somewhere I can put it somewhere else. And I thought it's a perfect one.
Yeah, get rid of it, Jenks.
And I got these canvas ones. There's just glare everywhere. So as I improve, I'm just going to slowly eliminate anything that can reflect light, just in case I want to change things around, you know? Oh, it's a boring conversation.
Yeah. I know. Look at that. 6 people have just left.
No, it's 6 people just did. They love light. Is he talking about light? Right. Now I'm on board. I went to see Nosferatu today.
Yes. Are we going to talk about it on our live next Sunday?
Well, we've got a guest next week.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
We can still talk about it. Do we?
Yeah. Well, I can't really talk about it today. I'm seeing it tomorrow.
No. So. I'm not going to mention it much about it. I know we're a bit late to the party, but we'll have a chat about it next week because we both have seen it by then. But yes, you like it. You like it more than I did. I liked it a lot, but you'll probably love it. It's probably the best Robert Eggers film. Well, I haven't seen The Lighthouse, so I can't judge that. But
so far, The Lighthouse is my favourite Robert Eggers movie. I thought that was fantastic.
I don't know why. I think
a proper fever dream.
I do like stuff like that. I'm not a massive witch fan. I've got no beef with it. It's a hard watch.
What's your beef?
Do you know though, I've got to say, Robert Eggers has got a type, because there's a scene in Nosferatu with a beautiful, naked gypsy kind of woman with the big black hair with the boobs out, and she's in the woods. And I thought, that's the same as exactly like the witch. He's a pervert. Yeah, that's why we want to be filmmakers.
That's it. That's the only reason.
Yeah, what about you? What have you seen?
Nothing in cinemas. I went to see Sonic 3 last week with my daughter and girlfriend. I enjoyed it. I love those films. They've got so much heart. It's a CGI fest, but they've got so much heart.
Yeah,
I do enjoy them. Other than that, Jenks, not much, to be honest.
When I watched Nosferatu today, they always show horror trailers, and they showed a clip of Presence. Now, I didn't know this existed until today, actually, because I watched Jeremy Jan's review on YouTube. Yeah. Not as big as us, but
he's too big.
He's almost as big as us, but he's very good, actually. He deserves it. He's
yeah, of course.
Anyway, he was talking about anticipated films. He mentioned Presence, and I hadn't heard of it. Had you heard of it, Steven Soderbergh?
Yeah, Steven Soderbergh, of course I have. The guy who's done just about every genre after he's completed this film.
Yeah, I'm sure he keeps retiring as well.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since he's directed, but I've been looking forward to this one since they released a poster. Yeah. Just because of how intriguing it is. And that teaser they dropped, it looks to be in the same type of psychological vein as Hereditary.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, like, It's an interesting idea. I don't think the concept of from the point of view of a ghost it has been done.
Yeah.
But to be filmed in first person, I don't know if that's been done, which is quite clever. But
Yeah.
in the trailer, it looks really creepy. But I don't know where the horror is going to come from if you're from the point of view of the
Yeah.
ghost. Like,
Yeah. If it's like, if you can see you waiting on the corner, like.
yeah, he's like, here he comes. Well, we're following you. I got you, bastard.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I did watch. The newest movie I've watched in the last week is Mind, Body, Spirit. It's a new... It says it's a found footage movie. It's not really, because the camera's got a mind of its own. It doesn't adhere to her putting the camera on and going in front of it, right? And the first 20 minutes, I was enjoying it, right? Proper good setup. The story's good. It's about this young girl who inherits a house from her grandmother she's never met. She was kind of cast out of the family. You find out for obvious reasons later on in the film. And she starts this yoga YouTube channel, Mind, Body, Spirit. And the whole film then is her in front of her laptop doing a show and strange things start happening. And it started off so good, and it's the only reason I give it 2 stars, because the first 20 minutes is great.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, it goes downhill so fast.
I hadn't heard of it till you told me about it.
It's a new one on Shudder. It says it's found footage, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's bits where the camera's filming her, and then it'll just turn and then look at something else in the room. And I mean, they don't mention that it's a motion-censored camera, and sometimes there's nothing there. The camera's just moving how it wants to.
Yeah, I hate shit like that. Like, I like continuity, explaining why the camera was filming these things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem found footage movies have, is that you've always got to explain why they're filming. So there's a scene going on. What makes you pick that camera up and film it? Because you're about to die.
Yeah, I think when it's a news crew, like in Wreck, makes a lot of sense. People go into war zones and stuff like that, and they'll film everything. In Chronicles, great, because he's using his mind to make the camera follow him.
Yeah.
Genius. And they actually tap into like CCTV footage to piece together the rest of the film, if you remember. Footage, which makes sense. Anyway, should we read a few comments?
Yeah, do you mean to go through a few?
Yeah, go on.
Ben Hostel Davies, evening guys, evening Ben, thanks for jumping on. We got Wendy Palfrey, Happy New Year Kirsten Jenks, and to everyone, Happy New Year Wendy, thanks for jumping on. We got John Moran, evening all, evening
Jordan.
pal. Jill John, evening both, Happy New Year to you all, Happy New Year Jill.
I'm sure your computer's getting further away. You're going to have a stick soon.
Hugh Huckridge, 7pm Sunday's best time of the week. Yes.
Yes.
We got Sam Jones, my good friend. Happy New Year,
Sam.
both. Happy New Year, Sam. We got Abigail Palfrey. Hey, guys, loving the new setup,
Hi,
Jenks.
Ab.
Don't
Thank
lie.
you.
Don't lie.
Spider-Man. She loves it.
We got Ryan. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, Ryan, mate. Hope you're good. And hi, everyone in the chat. Hope you're all well. Hi, Don.
Awesome.
Hope you're doing good. We got Jordan. I was going to bring up presents. There has been a trailer before every film I've seen for about 3 months, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. You're right, pal. I think it's going to be one of those creepers that just gets released. And if it does well, it does well. But yeah, I think this one's going to be a bit of a creeper.
I think because Steven Soderbergh's attached to it, it's probably going to get a bit more legs. But that's just intriguing. It does look good, I got to say. But,
there's intrigue there, isn't there? Do you know
I tell you what looked good as well. I'd already seen a trailer of this, but it was better on the big screen. It was Sinners with Ryan Coogler. Is it Coogler? Coolidge? What's his name? Guy did Black Panther and Creed. Michael B. Jordan film.
He plays twins.
I think so, yeah. He's stacked in it.
Yeah, is it set in like Western times?
Yeah.
It's a vampire movie, and Michael B. Jordan plays two brothers.
Wait, what's the director? Ryan
Coogler.
Coogler. Forget. Yeah. It does look good.
Is it a trailer?
Yeah, I'm sure. I saw it today in Nosferatu.
Oh right, okay. I haven't seen the trailer drop online yet. I'll probably see it tomorrow.
There hasn't been one yet. Yeah.
Well, I may have missed it, but I usually don't.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it because in my head I thought I'd seen the trailer.
Pictures, yeah.
But it looks quite good. It's looks like a full-on horror film. Do you fancy it?
Shall we tell everyone we're talking about today, because this has been the biggest pain in my ass all week, and
Yes.
it's for my and it's my fault because you wanted to do more films, but I said let's do a top 5, and trying to cram in 25 years of cinema into 5 movies.
Well, it's just, I know you had reluctance, and I think you're right. Doing a top 5 is easier. I think we'd be all night if we did a top 10.
Yeah, so everyone, right? This is what Jenkins wanted to do. He wanted to do 10 best and 10 worst from each of us.
No, I wanted to go through. I wanted to go through every year and pick our favourites.
That was your backup to the first one I denied.
So it was clocking up at 100 films. We're not that kind of podcast, unfortunately. I know, like Joe Rogan does like 5-hour ones, but I haven't got that in me.
No. So I was happy to settle on 5.
Yeah,
even though it was hard.
Yeah, I did get your reluctance, but I just thought the next chance we got this is another 25 years. It's strange because there's not a lot of people are doing this, which could be a good thing and a bad thing for us.
Well, there's a reason, Jenks, because nobody wants to do it.
But it is a big deal. 25th anniversary, a quarter of a century of horror, you know. But anyway, shall we? Let me just read a few more comments, and we'll get cracking.
There isn't any.
Oh my God, they've left because of the theme. Anyway, should we do our number 5?
Yeah, I just want to say, everyone, right? This was a hard 5 to do. And
solid.
At the end of it, if everyone wants to leave, everyone wants to hate on me for the 5 that I've picked, just know that it was a process of elimination, and I've got my reasons for coming up with the 5 that I did come up with. I've left loads out.
Oh yeah,
but it was hard.
Year. It's the same year, like, because I had to eliminate things that I thought weren't horror. So I'm a big fan of American Psycho, but I thought it's not really horror, and there's not enough room in my top 5, so I had to go. But I love that film; it probably would have made the top 5. But yeah, my number 5 is Jeepers Creepers. I love this film. Yes, there is a stack of films that are better in it than in the last 25 years. I understand that. I know a lot of people don't like the ending that much with the monster and everything. Spoiler alert. But I don't care. I love the ending. I think the first half or first 2/3 is spectacular horror. Probably the best horror around. Will match up anything with the car and the big truck chasing it, and the pipe. Oh my God, the pipe should have its own movie. It's so scary.
The pipe.
It is terrifying. But this film I go back to a lot, and that's one of the reasons why it's on it, because a lot of my top 5 is which ones do I jump on over and over again in the last 25 years, and this one is definitely one. What do you think of this one, Kurt?
Oh, this is one I thought about putting on the list. Didn't quite make the cut. Only because I've only recently rediscovered them. So I loved it when it came out. I remember the hype around it. And I never got on with the second one, although I love the second one now. But it's only been last year I've kind of come back into contact with these movies and fell in love with them again.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been something I've watched over the last 25 years over and over again. But Jeepers Creepers is class, man. It's a top class film.
Yeah, it's special, and it's a shame the franchise was so mismanaged. You got 3 and 4 terrible. First 2 are brilliant. I love the second one. I don't know why people have such beef with the second one.
Me either, to be honest. There's moments in the second one that edge out the first one. I think the first one overall is a better film just because so much more goes on.
Yeah.
It's got a proper beginning, middle, and end. Whereas the second one is just on the bus and in the fields. That's not a dig. I just think the first one is a more of a complete movie. You know. I
think as well the creeper, the performance. I think his name is Jonathan Brecken. I think his name is. Yeah. Anyway, he is fantastic as the creeper. The makeup, the jowls. It's got a bit of Predator about it, but he is just a great creature, great lore. A great look, just amazing. It's just I don't like franchises that go off a cliff and they keep churning them out. But it would have been great to have like 3 solid ones, and he could have been sort of, when we're in a comic horror con, people were dressed up as the creeper, but he's kind of lost, isn't he? You never see it.
He's not in that conversation. I mean, the Jason, Leatherface, Freddy, Chucky, Michael, he's not in that conversation. That's simply because there's just not enough of him. I feel like if it was a better managed franchise, he would have been in contention, I think.
He is a hard one to dress up as. I think Art the Clown is quite easy to dress up as, so it's probably going to see him a lot. Even if the Terrifier films sort of fall off a cliff, I think like Ghostface and things, people can always dress up as Terrifier. Whereas with the Creeper, it's really hard. Massive wings.
Yeah, you'd either have to have like crap makeup on or one of those massive fat plastic mask heads, which always look crap.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, exactly. Jason's easy. You can plonk on a mask. Michael's easy. Freddy's relative easy. As long as you got the jumper on, you've a hat. You're pretty much Freddy. But yeah, that's my number 5 pick. Let me just any comments about Jeepers Creepers? Let me read a few. Where are we now? Here we are. So Abigail, love Jeepers Creepers. Such a brilliant movie. Yeah, it is. It's a classic. I just wish they had a better ending. I don't like the sort of bleak ending. I would have liked the finale to be going down that pipe again and back to the church, but I'm nitpicking. Ella Star, hi Ella. I don't remember Jeepers Creepers. Might have to rewatch. Definitely worth a rewatch. John Moran, love Jeepers Creepers. Was great in the cinema, yes. Saw both of them in the cinema. Did not watch the third one in the cinema. Don Keat, great choice. I love Jeepers Creepers. That tune and that cave with all the bodies stitched together. Wow.
Oh my God, yeah, that's such a good scene.
Yeah.
He finds that brother and sister, doesn't he, down there, that went missing.
Were they brother and sister or boyfriend and girlfriend? I can't remember.
Maybe boyfriend and girlfriend then. But the story says at the start of the film, he finds them down there, which is great.
Yeah, and you've got like you've got a like Steven Spielberg's Duel film with a lorry chasing the car.
Yeah.
It's got so much influence from that, and it's so cool to start with his big truck. For some reason, they thought it'd be interesting to explore his truck in the third one.
What about Roadkill? That's another great road movie.
Yes, Roadkill.
Or Joyride. It's got an alternate title, Joyride.
Yes, Joyride over here, Roadkill over there, America, I think. I love 70s, 80s horror. I watched Pit and the Pendulum. Oh, fair play. Mental for the first time. But scary, but mental for the first time. Is that the Vincent Price one? Is he in that?
Yeah, there's a Vincent Price one, and then there's another one, I believe, which was made in the 80s or 90s.
Yes, 90s. I remember seeing the big box cover in the video shop. Right then, Kurt. Should we reveal yours?
Shaking, boy.
Are you doing it or do you want me to do it?
No, I'll do it. I can do it.
Okay.
Right, first up, I've got your next.
Oh, no, you haven't done your number 5.
Oh, I don't think I did them in order.
Oh, didn't you?
It's fine.
Me an order.
It's fine.
It's
number 5.
Is your number one you sent me? Or was it just...
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It doesn't matter what order. It was hard. There's 5. I'm going to talk about 5. All right,
there we are.
So
as long as your number 1 is intact.
I'll follow your rules, Jenks, all right? But just know... I'll dance to your whistle. Right. In 5th place, I've got The Descent. Now, I've always said this, and not just in the last 25 years. I think this is one of the best examples of horror there's ever been. I think Neil Marshall, when he does horror well, he can do it great, and I think this is the best example of that. The use of the cave in this movie, the monsters, it's ultra-violent. The girls are great in it. They kick fucking ass.
Yeah.
And to top it all off as well, the monsters are scary. Now, I'm not scared of monsters, right? It's not something that scares me. I watch a monster movie to have fun, right? So any of these great big monster movies, I always have fun with them. Now, this is the only monster movie that scares me, like a ghost movie does, like Insidious, Conjuring, any of those movies. The Descent, every time I watch it, I'm so uncomfortable. Mild claustrophobia, I don't think I've got it terribly bad, but I always get that fear of being jammed into a tight space. You would never find me in a cave. And every time I watch this movie, I'm uncomfortable. And And, oh God, I've loved this movie since it came out. And it's one, like I said, I had a process of elimination. I know for a fact this is one movie in the last 25 years that I go back to yearly, and I go out of my way to watch it, so it had to go on there.
This almost made the cut. I'm talking like number 6. I was torn. This is one of the best British horror films. Not one of the best horror films, but certainly it could well be the best British horror film. Neil Marshall has hit or miss. He hasn't done anything of value. I'm not a fan of Dog Soldiers, but I give it a pass because it was his first film, or certainly his first mainstream film. But his follow-up is The Descent, so he fucking learned a lot on Dog Soldiers, how to make a film, because the tension in this, if you took away the monsters, if it's just a film about potholing, oh my God, it is horrifying. I love it. I absolutely love this film.
I love the whole lore around it as well, and the backstory, if you kind of look into it, about, obviously, these are just humans that have adapted to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Over hundreds of years, evolution of some sort, you know. It's just a fantastic film.
Do you know, the sequel is so shit. I know we discussed it before, but you know, the whole point of this film is they're skinny monsters that can crawl through little spaces, and you can't compete with them because they're literally designed to go through holes. In the second one, you got it stacked one.
I know. I don't know when he got that stacked.
He's got a multi-gym down there. Like, how'd he get the gym down there?
The worst thing about The Descent Part 2, right, is how willing that girl is to go back into the cave. Now, yeah, in all fairness, she's got police making her go down, but it would all come down to one thing. You're going to have to shoot me because I'm not going back in that cave.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think they did a crap, like she had a bit of amnesia or something, some shit like that. It's nonsense, isn't it? But yeah, Don Keat, another brill choice. Did you watch The Descent tour? We just mentioned that. Sarah can't remember what happens in the caves. They take her back, very paranoid experience. Because it's strange, because the British version is that she never gets out, and the American version is she got out. So the sequel is quite difficult to understand when I watched it at the time. I was like, how is she in hospital? Did she get rescued off screen?
I mean, she didn't get killed, so...
No, I suppose not. I suppose this loosely, but yeah. But yeah, great choice. This is my wife's most terrifying movie.
Oh my God, it's horrific.
Yeah, when that first monster shows up, I think on the camera, through the camera, when they're filming, it's spectacular. Right, we're on number 4, Kurt. Are you excited? Okay.
No.
So you're gonna, I don't know whether we've only got one of our top 5 shared, and this is one of them. And it's Evil Dead 2013. Now, when I was looking through all the films, I had to go through Wikipedia. It took me a while. And I got to say, most of the good stuff was early in the century, but this was the only one that was kind of later. I love this film. We've talked about it so much. I don't really want to go on, but we talked about it a few weeks ago. It's a classic. Yeah, I love it. I guess we talk about it all the time.
I'll just talk about this one with you instead of getting the picture back up and talking about it when it comes to mine. Yeah. Obviously, anyone who's watched our videos know how much me and Jenks praise this movie. We've done two Evil Dead videos in the last couple of weeks. I'm sick to death for the franchise, to be honest. But for me, right, I love Evil Dead Rise and I love Evil Dead 2013. And it was just down to which one I liked more, because I wanted to put both of them on the top 5 because we've had 2 Evil Dead movies in the last 25 years. It would feel wrong to leave them out, but just to get another extra movie, and I thought I'll pick Evil Dead 2013 because it just edges Rise for me. But yeah, this film is absolute carnage. It's exactly what you need from an Evil Dead movie, you know?
Again, my wife can't watch this. We had to switch it off. It's too gory for her, which was kind of annoying because, like, well, it's a good film. It's not like Terrifier where it's silly and gory. This is a well-made, well-acted film that happens to be gory, so it's frustrating when someone doesn't want to watch it.
Yeah, of course. There's more to it than the gore, you know?
Yeah. Do you know, with this one, now, on a ranking, I remember having a dilemma whether to put Rise before this, and I can't even remember what I picked. I'm sure I picked Rise before that, higher than this.
No,
But
you
obviously,
didn't.
didn't I? This was higher,
This
was it?
higher is in
As in
closer to
better.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
closer
this
to
was
one.
no, this was it. You
Was
picked
it?
this one.
Oh, okay. Again, that's so close. Yeah, that's because Rise isn't in this list, and I can't remember if I did the other way around.
Yeah. I've
But
watched Rise easily 7 times since it's been out, and that's a lot. It was only released last year. Easily 7 times.
yeah, it is a classic. It's a modern classic, and I wondered when I was going through the Wikipedia, and I was wondering like which films to pick, and they're all coming from the first half of the century. And I thought, is it because I've had more time to watch them more often, I've fallen in love with them, or was the standard higher earlier on? I don't know. It's a tough
Maybe.
one.
I think a lot of these early 2000s movies are considered classics as well now. Like my top 10 is basically all 70s and 80s movies.
Yeah.
Now, are we looking at early 2000s in the same way, like
Yeah,
nostalgia purposes, you know?
But you have got more second half of the century, second half of the 25 years than me. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but you watch films more than me. I think you repeat films. So a lot of these later films, they've probably been more cemented.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just read a quick comment. Hi Don, fantastic, absolute cracker. The tongue scene is so disturbing. Yeah, it's a fucking cracker. Right, so number 4 for you. You've got
Jesus Christ! Right, number 4 for me, I've got You're Next. Now, this is one of my favourite slasher movies of all time, and this one holds a very special place in my heart. This came out the year I turned 18, and I just made the cut to go see this one in cinema. So it was the first R-rated movie, and I mean R-rated as in 18 plus.
18, yeah.
And it just blew me away. I was really high on Adam Wingard at the time. He was about to do The Guest. He had done VHS, ABC's of Death, Blair Witch. I know they came out after this one, but I mean, I was there from his journey, you know. And this was one of the movies in the middle of it, and I just absolutely love this movie. It's got a great basic concept. It doesn't do anything new, but what it does do, it does so well. And the violence in it is insane. I love the masks, and I love the twist at the end. It's just a great film. I think Adam Wingard is wasted directing Godzilla movies. I think him and his writing partner, Simon Barrett, they need to get back on horror, because for me, right, you've got Blair Witch, You're Next, and The Guest. The Guest isn't quite horror, but it's horror enough. It plays homage to John Carpenter and a lot of 80s horror movies. The guy needs to go back to what he does best, because every time he releases a movie like Godzilla and Kong vs. Godzilla and all that shit, I genuinely get angry. Do you know what I mean?
It's wasted talent.
But for me, slashers haven't been there as much as they have, obviously, in the 80s. They kind of died out after that, and then into the 90s. I feel like this is one of the movies that should have brought slashers back. I feel like it should have been a bigger hit, and slashers made a comeback. But nothing yet.
I was lucky enough to see this in the cinema, and I did love this. I loved the final girl. She's a proper badass, not in the modern sense of like strong woman. She just was a badass because it made sense. She was trained by, I think, her father, like a survivalist, and it was like it got a bit of Home Alone in it, where the booby traps. And she's a very good lead as well. She's not irritating.
Yeah, she's great.
You know, she's a badass, but without being obnoxious and thinking she's better, you know.
And this is another reason I was saying at the start is 3 of the 5 movies that I've picked tonight, I have a tattoo of, right? So I got 3 tattoos on me, and I thought, I like these films enough, right, to get a tattoo. So I just looked at my arm and went, there's 3, and I've got to make 2 more, right? So You're Next is one of them.
Well, just because of this top 5, you've committed now. You picked it tonight.
I got this tattoo last week, you know.
Yeah. What if I accidentally changed the tile now and put it somewhere else? You'd be like, "All right, you know what? Got to do it. Like Carry On Camping or something."
Yeah.
Schindler's List. That's a good tattoo. I love this film. The masks are great. You're right. It's very simple. it doesn't do anything that extraordinary. But the scene where I can't remember which mask it is because they got multiple animals, but it's a scene where he just kills somebody. He's sitting on the couch, still with his mask. And is it a pig mask or a sheep mask? I can't remember.
No, it's the sheep, I believe. He's got headphones in, hasn't he?
Yeah, you can hear the music playing, and it's just a cool scene. I love it.
Yeah, the best scene is when just after she starts booby trapping the house, and she gets the planks of wood, and she starts putting nails through them. And what she does is she puts one underneath the window, but then she puts another one in view. So when the guy's climbing through, he sees the one in view and goes, can't get me that easy. And then boom, straight down on it.
That's genius.
And that's one of the worst things in movies. Home Alone is standing on nails. I can't cope with it.
Yeah, I watched a video on that.
It's so painful.
And it's like a rubber nail. And then when he steps with bare feet on the glass ornaments, he breaks them, remember?
Yeah.
He had a rubber foot over his foot, like a rubber sock, so you can just smash onto them. I love this film. It's a good choice. To be honest, I forgot about this. I don't even remember clocking it when I was looking through the list. It wouldn't have made my top 5, but it's a very good film.
Let me read a few comments. Tyler Adams says, never caught this one. Hiya, Tyler, mate. Thanks for jumping on, pal. You should definitely check this one out, Tyler. It's an absolute cracker, especially if you like violent slashers.
Yes, and funny.
Got John Moran. Adam Wingard's next film, Onslaught. A mother living in a trailer park uses her skills to protect her loved ones from a threat that's escaped a secret military base while mercenaries try to contain it. That's what I'm talking about. That sounds like it could be set in the same universe as The Guest. Do you know what I mean? But nice one for that, John. I didn't actually know about that one, so cheers, pal. I'll have to check that one out. Don Keats says, I'm not so keen on this one, but the killings were cracking, but not that scary. Maybe over the years, but I've been hardened to watching horror movies, wanting more gore and violence, lol. Definitely. Now, I never judge these movies by how scary they are, because I know I'm not going to go in and be scared. Anytime there's a slash or a monster movie, if I'm scared, I'll have a lovely surprise.
Yeah,
but I would never come away from a slasher movie and go, shit, wasn't scared. Because it's not what scares me, but I enjoy the violence. I enjoy the carnage.
Yeah, you're right. Like, if you like, Evil Dead is a horror, but it's not scary. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and you can still enjoy a ghost film. It doesn't have to scare you. It just has to get under your skin, maybe. I think a lot of people gauge horror now, especially young people, on jump scares. Yeah. And it's just shit. It's the wrong word. It's not shit, but it's just cheap. Done in the right way, it's awesome. But if it's overused, it's just like me jumping out of a cardboard box and scaring you.
Someone told me once, when It came out, someone said to me that it's not a horror movie. I went, what do you mean it's not a horror movie? I went, well, it didn't scare me. I was like, okay, then it's subjective. It will scare different people. I'm not scared of clowns, so Pennywise isn't really going to scare me. That is a horror film.
Yeah, it's like saying...
what else could it be like?
It's like saying Schindler's List is not a drama because I never cried. It's like, well, it can still move you. It's still a drama. Yeah,
like Terrifier didn't scare me. Am I going to go around saying that's not a horror movie, you know?
Yeah, but it did sicken you.
Not really.
Well, you stick your daughter in front of it, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't stick my daughter in front of it. That's not how I judge movies. But
yes, you should.
I'm pretty hardened, Jenks. I'm pretty hardened, like.
Yeah, I am as well. When I watched Terrifier 3, because I was prepping myself, I kind of sort of put a suit of armor on. I think if I went in thinking it was someone else, it might have caught me off guard, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
nice.
Do you know, the only time, right, I get caught off guard is when there's ultra violence in movies you're not expecting it, right? So if the whole film is played quite normal, and then you get that one scene where something rough happens, that's usually a head turner because you're really not expecting it. I mean, Terrifier 3 starts and he butchers 2 kids in a family, so...
You're right about that, because 2 examples for me is Speak No Evil. It's not an overly violent film apart from the ending, the original. Another one which gets under my skin, and you don't even see it, is the scene from Dr. Sleep when she kills the kid.
Oh yeah, it's horrific.
And
oh
you
my
don't
God.
see what happens, but it's his reaction, and it's kind of the most violent scene in the film. And it's disturbing. If you stuck that in Terrifier, it's a mild scene, but if you stick it, it's all about context.
Yeah, what's worse about that scene is when he says to her, are you going to hurt me? And she just says, yes.
Yeah.
That's so nasty. It's such a horrible scene.
I know, she's a good villain.
It's a great scene to have in the film, but I didn't enjoy that scene. It's too nasty.
Yeah, and that kid is a good actor. He's from Room with Brie Larson film. So
he's in loads of stuff.
Yeah, his reaction to getting cut open, you don't even see it, but it's just horrible, especially if you got kids.
It's horrible.
I didn't care when I didn't have kids. Fuck him. Yeah, cop out.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, ooh. It's going to fucking hurt. Yeah, here it comes, Kurt. Turn it up.
Adjust the brightness. Adjust the brightness.
I got 3D set in. Yeah. Sound like perverts now. You're
the one doing that.
Right. Number 3. It's Hostel. I love this movie. It is one of the... This was always going to be in my top 5. The second one is close as well, but I've got a special place in my heart for this film. When it was first announced and you heard the sort of talk about this is the most goriest film ever, people walking out of the cinema, I hear that all the time. I think half the time it's bollocks. And I think sometimes if people walk out, it's just because they don't like those sort of films. So they might be squeamish, but it's like, oh, this is not my cup of tea.
Sorry to go off topic a little bit, Jenks, but I remember the first VHS coming out and it hadn't been released over here.
Yeah.
But I remember reading a newspaper article that an ambulance got called to the theatre. And I was young enough to believe the hype at that point, when I was like, oh my fucking God. And it comes out, I watch it, I'm like, well, fucking...
good
film, but...
Can you imagine how embarrassing it'd be if you were that bloke in the ambulance? You'd have to say, oh, someone else it was.
Like, I was going to say, guys, it's unrelated.
Yeah, bullshit. You're watching Hostel. No, I was watching Scooby-Doo.
Oh, no, my diabetes are flaring up. Oh.
I went on the wrong screen here, Scooby-Doo, and my bloody heart went. Bullshit. Yeah, you'd be ashamed. Even your mother would be like, how did he die? Oh, in the kitchen. I think in the cinema. Oh, yeah, in the cinema, sorry.
Oh.
In the funeral, embarrassed. Asking the vicar to change the eulogies. Don't say he was in the cinema. Right, Hostel. This film is great. I love this film. Do you know what I love about this film? It's a shame Eli Roth has kind of fallen off a cliff. He's still laughing.
Fucking hell.
Just imagine your mother,
Yeah.
she's in the chat. Is she still here? Or is she gone? But yeah, Hostel for me, it is amazing. It's how you do torture porn right.
Right, wait there. Wait, all right, go on.
I think I have to switch your camera off.
I'm going to be professional now.
It's how you do torture porn correct. I think Saw gets it wrong a lot of the time. It's just torture for the sake of torture. But this one, you only see what you need to see. Even the Achilles scene, you don't even see him cut the Achilles. You just see the result of him
That's
walking.
when he steps up in it.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. Even the scene, right, where they cut the girl's toe off. And you think you've seen it, but it's just the knife, the scissors goes over it, and the scream is in the next scene, and your brain thinks you've seen it, but you haven't.
Yeah, of course.
And it is a special film. The sequel is top notch as well. I don't even mind the third one. I know Eli Roth didn't do the third one, but I don't mind it for a straight to DVD sort of part 3.
Yeah, I love. I didn't mind the third one. I think I've only watched it once. It's never.
It's not that bad, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, considering it's a third in a franchise and the original director hasn't come back.
Yeah, low budget, everything.
And it's in somewhere as flashy as Las Vegas. I mean, first off, right off the bat, it's not as scary because they're in one of the nicest places in the world. Whereas Hostel 1 and 2, it feels like there's danger there before anything bad happens. I've always preferred Hostel 2 by a small margin. I just think the story's better and I prefer the characters. But there's one scene in part 2 which makes it number one for me is I'm not going to say the word, right, because we're monetized now, right? C-U-N-T, right? When she tells the guy not to call it a C-U-N-T. And then she plucks his willy and throws it in that dog's mouth.
Willy. Yeah.
I feel like that's the best word I can use for it so we don't get banned.
And his balls. Didn't it get it all off?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe I blanked that bit out, like, you know, like PTSD.
No, I paused that bit. It's like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct scene, yeah.
Calling your wife into the room. Oh, come look at this.
Yeah. Yes. I think as sequels go, Hostel 2 is amazing, but the bit I don't like about...
And those kids, the kids are horrific.
Yeah.
Those horrible little shits.
And it is like that, places like that, like Brazil and things like that.
Just going around bricking people, like.
Do you know as well, what I didn't like about the second one is they kill Paxton at the start and it bugged me. Paxton is such a good character, and it goes back to like a lot of these Nightmare on Elm Street films and Friday the 13th when they killed the previous. I just don't like it. It's you've invested a lot of time in that character escaping and then it's like done, you know?
Yeah. Do you know another great thing about the second one as well is that it shows the antagonists, so the people who are going to be torturing, and one of them's really nervous about doing it. They're just regular people who have too much money and they want to go try something new.
Yeah.
And one of them's quite nervous, isn't he? If I remember correctly. And I loved that. I thought it was a nice change because it kind of takes the mask away from these people and shows that they're normal psychos, like psychos are normal people.
Oh yeah, and
they don't spend 24 hours of their day being psychos. They're regular people. They have office jobs and families. And
that's what he did really well, Eli Roth. He took what was great about the first one, and when you heard he was just flipping the gender, you thought, oh, what's this crap? But then you needed that, and also it had time meant to explore, like you said, the actual torturers as well. Let me just read this out, Kerr. We've got a super chat, $4.99 from TSL, the Slaughtered Lamb. Oh, thank you for this wonderful channel. TSL, the Slaughtered Lamb, I've got an awesome podcast. They're friends of the channel. We're friends of their channel, we hope. But we've met these guys. They're awesome. They're not as good looking as us, but they're better than us. They're more articulate. And,
definitely more articulate.
And you can understand what they're saying.
Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And thank you for the constant love, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So Tyler Adams, that scene breaks my heart. Are we talking about the same film still?
The Dr. Sleep, that is.
Dr. Sleep, sorry.
With the kid,
a bit behind. Oh, yeah. Love the Hostel films.
Yeah, so good. I loved his homage to Maniac as well. One of the alternate posters is a homage to Maniac. You've got the jean legs and he's holding a head.
Is there?
Great poster.
That poster of Hostel there looks like Paxton's head. I don't think he loses his head in it, apart from the second one. Ambulance called the theatre a cinema goer. A goer was a bloody joke. John Moran. Oh, look at this. Stop giving money away. Frank Riker. Thank you, Frank. We need it.
Thank you, pal.
We need it. We're skint.
Stop giving our money away, TSL.
Frank Riker is the other half of the Slaughtered Lamb TSL. Like I said, they got an awesome channel. You got to check them out. Drop them a sub if you haven't already. Look, Jill, this is your mother. I'm still here. It's a cock. Right, it's not the balls. My mistake.
I may as well have just said it then. If you're just going to say it, Jenks.
Yeah. Right.
Where's our mod? Where's our mod? Get this guy out.
Excuse me. Right. So your next pick for number 3.
Yes. this was the easiest of the 5 for me. Now, I feel like a lot of people may disagree with me on this one. I know chapter 2 kind of tainted it as a whole, but this, I can't remember being more excited for a movie when this was coming out. 2017, obviously grew up loving the original one from Tommy Lee Wallace, and the hype I had for this movie on this release was insane. I was just coming back from Greece, and I got asked to be dropped off at cinema on my own. I went in and watched it, and then I went back again the next day and watched it again because this film blew me away. I booked a tattoo a week later after seeing it, which I don't regret, but it was a very silly thing to do.
No shit.
But I spent a good 2 years after this movie came out obsessed with it. I collected every single action figure, any Blu-ray, DVD, anything I could get my hands on. My house is littered with the shit, right? Much to my daughter's dismay. She hates Pennywise. She's only 9, bless her, and I've got Pennywise everywhere. Like
stuff of nightmares.
But Andy Muschietti absolutely knocked this one out of the park. He took everything that was great about the book and turned it into a great film. I haven't read all the book. I've read segments of it. I always give up. But I know a lot about the lore and what happens in the book, and this is such a faithful adaptation. Skarsgård absolutely knocks it out of the park with Pennywise. It's hard to compare him to Tim Curry because I think they're two very different performances. But if I had a gun to my head, I would go with Skarsgård. He was more of a monster for me. But yeah, I just think this is a 5-star movie. It's one of the best horror movies to come out in the last 25 years. It's just a shame that Chapter 2 was a bit of a letdown. But this was my easiest choice. It's the first film I said, It, Chapter 1, easily top 5.
Who says, it was by far one of the best horror films ever made, even Part 2.
I don't hate Part 2, right? I don't hate Part 2. I actually enjoy it, just because I enjoy it as a whole. But it's nowhere near as good as the first part. There's too much of it set in daylight. It's not scary, and there's too many silly scenes. Like, we've spoke about the scene with the stupid music playing.
Yeah, Just Call Me Angel. While it's a real serious scene. So I love It Part 1. I don't like Part 2. I watched It Part 1 not long ago. Well, I've seen it in the cinema. I've seen it a few times. My daughter stuck it on for my daughter the other day. And it is so good.
It's amazing.
It's a bit too much CGI. I think Andy Muschietti needs to rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Even in the first part.
There was a good balance in the first part. The only part I don't like in Part 1 is when Stanley's in the back room of the Jewish church and that painting comes to life.
Yeah.
It's too silly. The head's too long, and it's like Man with a Screaming Face, you know?
Yeah.
It's the only part when it comes on, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, they just nailed the sort of coming of age Stephen King element of it, the Stand By Me the old It, the 90s miniseries, and they nail it. The casting is great. The adult casting is good as well in the second one. I struggle with the second one so much. And I think everybody knows the second half of the original miniseries isn't as strong as the first. The kids are better because they're vulnerable, they're weak, they haven't got a voice, they haven't got money to buy weapons and guns. The problem with the second one, they're all rich and they could buy fucking machine guns.
Yeah, do you know, I have literally just finished watching The Story of Pennywise. It's a new documentary on Shudder. Or I don't know how new it is, but I've just recently watched it. And they go through the film and the making process. And one of the makeup effect artists that worked on it, even he said when they were prepping to do the second part, he was asking me, he was like, why is Pennywise still a clown? He's only a clown to scare these kids. Yeah. Like, they're adults now. Why is he still appearing as a clown? So he tried to push this thing in where Pennywise should look like a monster because that will scare the adults. A straight-up clown isn't going to scare them. But I just feel like Pennywise is too popular for them to not have him in there.
Well, that's the thing. So at the start, when that guy falls in the water, the second one, and
year goes.
No, I'm going to make a point. And it's Pennywise, and it's like, well, why is that guy scared of clowns? I understand why he's a clown when with the adults, the main cast, because it relates to their childhood. So it's more disturbing, but it shouldn't be default a clone, shouldn't it? It's meant to take the form of anything, and to have that in the story when you write the story and you got that rule, you should stick with it. But yes, it's a great choice. I love it. It's so fucking good. Tyler Adams. It is a badass film. Great imagery, great scenes. The cast totally rocks. It's almost perfect. I have slight gripes with it, mostly technical though.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Tyler. My only problems with it, chapter 1 and 2, a few technical things. Nothing to do with the story, the acting, the pace, anything. Yeah, minor faults from both, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed a few up here. We got Who. It is by far one of the best horror films ever made, even
that.
part 2.
I have. Okay. I've read most of them.
Okay, Tim Curry, Every Day. We've got Skarsgård, Every Day. This is to do with Hostel. Showing psychos as real people make it more unsettling. They could easily be your neighbour or your sister-in-law. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I meant. It's much more scary when we kind of get a glimpse behind the mask, you know?
Yeah, totally.
There we are, up to date. Jenks, missing comments. Oh, come on. We haven't got that many, right?
Right, we got number 2 spot. I always knew what my number 1 was going to be, so number 2, I forgot what number 2 is. Oh, yeah. So, after me telling you I was going to ditch this from my top 5 because I wanted to make room for things because it wasn't a flat-out horror, but I had to put it back in, and it's Shaun of the Dead. It's just too good, and it is a horror. Yes, it is a flat-out horror that happens to be a comedy. It is amazing. It is one of the greatest movies ever made, not just in the last 25 years. It is one of the best British films ever made, one of the funniest, layered upon layer upon layer. I've seen this so many times. I watched it on the 20th anniversary a few months ago, and I saw 2 things that I hadn't seen before, and I've seen this so many times. One thing I saw, and I don't really know if it was definitely sort of an Easter egg, but it's so layered it probably was. So you've got Clyde. He pretends to be a big monkey, a gorilla called Clyde, and at the end when Ed gets what's his name? What's his name? His mate, Ed. Forgot his name in real life. Yeah, Ed.
Nick Frost.
I got a mental block end. Nick Frost gets bitten at the end. When he's screaming, he sounds like a gorilla, and I thought, oh my God, he's being Clyde, and I hadn't noticed that. Now it's subtle, but it's awesome. I could watch this over and over again. It's just amazing. And you know what? His outfit, the name badge, I kind of wish he didn't rip it off halfway through the film because he becomes so iconic now.
Yeah.
It just kind of like, obviously at the time they didn't know he was going to be iconic, but in retrospect, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would have had this on my top 5. Early on, while we were prepping this, you said we won't do Shaun of the Dead because it's not a fully fledged horror. So I made my top 5 around this one. But just know this would have been on my top 5.
Yeah, well, I did warn you before. I said, look, I put it back on. So you did have a chance to put it back on.
I was all set, James. I was all set, boy.
You didn't even know the order when we started this podcast.
No prep Davies, that's what they call me.
Yeah, it's a special film. Like I said, I was only not going to include it just to make room for someone else and just to justify, it's a comedy, doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's too good. It's too good. Let me read a few comments, Kurt. Ben Davis, Shaun of the Dead is my number 1 horror and comedy. Yes, it's amazing. Frank Riker, I just got the 4K steelbook of Shaun of the Dead. I'm pleased with it.
Me too, pal. It's the one that looks like Tales from the Crypt old comic book cover, new 4K steelbook, stunning release.
Isn't it? Even though we didn't make this ourselves, doesn't it feel like it's our baby, a British film?
Yeah.
Because we haven't got much. Like America gets everything good.
Yeah.
But we've got something so iconic, and you kind of got pride of it, isn't it? British pride. Second, are you going to get that steelbook?
No, I've got it.
Oh, you got it. Sorry.
My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas.
Oh, fair play. Ella Star, yes, Shaun of the Dead, all-time classic. I never get sick of watching this. Yes, definitely. And Abigail, Shaun of the Dead is one of my favourite all-time films. Yeah, totally. It's just too good. I would say, some gun to my head, I think maybe Hot Fuzz is a better made film because I think Edgar Wright got better at filmmaking. But I'm a horror fan, so I'm always going to lean to Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, of course. I've always gone back and forth, to be honest, growing up. I mean, it's probably the hardest decision you'll ever make.
Yeah.
What's better, Shaun or Hot Fuzz? You know.
It's really important. The stakes are high. Hugh Upgrades, I absolutely love the depth of humour and horror in Shaun of the Dead. If you have to watch it many times, you have to watch it many times to truly understand it. Yes,
definitely.
Yeah,
I'm still finding things.
Yeah, Andy makes Star Wars. Hi, Andy. Cheers for jumping on the show. Is Hot Fuzz a horror? It has gore. Yeah, totally. You can chuck it in. I don't see any harm. I mean, you did put The Raid in one of our videos.
Listen, from Gareth Evans' mouth, right? The Raid is a horror movie. They've just taken out the zombies and added in drug addicts and drug users, right?
Right. I hate to say this, but your number 2 spot, I can't do it again. I just can't.
No. I said I spoke about it.
No,
I spoke about it, right?
It's your number 2 spot. No,
so, number 2 spot, Evil Dead. There we are.
Yes. So we're on number 1.
Yes.
It's taken us an hour, but...
I'm going to get lynched.
Lucky we didn't do my original one, because it's taken us an hour to do 5.
I know.
Let me just read this quickly. Tyler Adam, Shaun the Dead is perfect. I love the filmmaking. It's masterfully self-referential with great homages. It's layered. It's one of the best films ever. Yeah, it is. And like I said, I keep finding things all the time, and I've watched it so many times. I remember a few years ago, I realized that the checkout girl at the start is the same girl in the garden.
Yeah,
and it's little things like that. It's so clever. So my number 1 spot is...
I know what this is going to be.
Dawn of the Dead.
Are you sick of talking about this one, Jenks?
Yes.
Because I'm happy to skip over this one if you want.
I'm going to talk about it briefly. I love this film.
Talk about the opening again as well.
No more. Right, I love this film. I'm sick of talking about it. This is a classic for me. I suppose 21 years has passed now, so it's plenty of time to be a classic. But it is awesome. Doesn't matter if you love the original. This is his own film. And this was always going to be my number 1. This is the only film in the last 25 years that's proper had an impact. Like something like Return of the Living Dead, Predator, Terminator. There's a lot of good films, but a lot of them don't have a stamp, like sort of like Pulp Fiction, things like that. And this one's got it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to skip. So your next one, your number 1 spot.
I'm going to get lynched.
Told you, people are going to get, number 1, last 25 years.
I didn't say talk to me. It wasn't talk to me, was it?
Yeah, that's what you sent me. I can prove it.
I stand by it. I'm only joking. I'm joking.
You can switch it.
I'm not. I stick in by it, right? I put it in number 1 for a reason.
You're sweating.
Yeah, let me have some water.
Some whiskey, boy.
Before the horrible comments start coming in. Where's our mod, just in case it gets nasty in the comments? Where's the mod? Right. Number 1 for me, right, is Talk to Me. I don't think it's the best movie in the last 25 years, but this is easily my favourite movie in the last 25 years. It's the one that's had the most impact on me. It was the best cinema experience I've ever had to date. I don't think it'll ever be topped. Because I went in with low expectations. It didn't have loads of buzz behind it when I watched it. It was just a film made by 2 YouTubers, and somehow they managed to pull off one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I think it's going to be one of those films that defines a decade, in my opinion. I think it's an absolute standout. It beat out Evil Dead Rise for my favourite movie of 2023. And like I said with Your Next, it doesn't do anything new, but what it does it perfectly. The scares are fantastic. I love the look of the ghosts. I love the whole story with the hand. I think it's a great prop. It's something I haven't seen before. And I was actually scared to rewatch this one, right? So when I seen it in cinema, I literally, me and my girlfriend sat in her car for about 10 minutes just silent. And that's why it's number one, because I've never left cinema and a film has never had that impact on me, where not because I was so scared, just because of how blown away I was by how good this film is. And I waited about a year to watch it again, right? So when it was released on physical media, it was on Netflix, I was genuinely too scared to watch it again, just in case it was tainted and I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first time. But I watched it again and I had the exact same feelings watching it, the same reactions to all the scenes. And on top of that, it mixes humour great. And it's not humour as in comedy humour. It's real life. This is how teenagers act. It's not done because they want to be funny. It's done because this is how teenagers act. You know, you've got that scene where they have fun with a hand and you get that montage with the song and the camera's flying around and they're all having fun with it getting possessed. I don't think they did that for comedic effect. They did it just because that's what teenagers would do, because they're stupid. But this has been, for me, one of the most influential horror movies I've seen in a long time. And I absolutely had to put it in number one spot, just because I'm still thinking about it and it's really fresh in my mind and it's one that I absolutely love.
I did enjoy this a lot. In spite of the fact when I was in the cinema, gang of boys just fucking about. Oh my God. My pet peeve, right? It was so bad. They were sitting about two seats away, and I had to put my hood up to block a bit of my face so they weren't in my view, so I could kind of shut them out.
Yeah.
And it still didn't spoil the film. I still loved it. It didn't scare me that much. I think the only issue I had with it is that the camera stayed on the ghost a bit too long for my liking.
I didn't, man.
Good makeup and things, but a little bit less I would have preferred.
The drowned lady, the first ghost that she comes in contact with, her face is all bloated because she drowned.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's horrific. And then when she takes over her body, she's talking with water in her throat, which I thought was a great touch.
Yeah.
So she sounds like she's underwater talking.
The realism of this film is fantastic. So all the teenagers look like normal teenagers. Then they're all like Hollywood teenagers, all perfect.
Yes.
They've got perfect teeth, perfect bodies. They look like real people. And you get that with Australian films. I was in New Zealand. Australia, I think.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Very similar kind of vibes the films are. And,
yeah.
So you've got the realism of the characters. So at the start, when the main girl, I forget her name, picks up the young boy and they're singing Chandelier in the car, moments like that really ground this film as like these are real people acting like real normal everyday things. The scene where the little boy smashes his face to pieces on the mantelpiece is hard to watch. That again, that's a little bit left field. We were talking about earlier about a film that's not overly gory, and you've got that scene like Jesus Christ, that came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And it is brutal.
The first time seeing that scene, and then again when he's in hospital when he does it, and there's a scene in the hospital, right, that absolutely curdled my blood. It's when she gets a glimpse of where he is, and he's just surrounded by hundreds of these demonic forces all pulling him apart, not body parts, but just pulling him. And it's only on screen for about 3 seconds. It's the perfect amount of time.
Yeah.
And instantly I was like, that is the best depiction of hell. Just being absolutely tortured. Like.
It reminded me of Event Horizon, that scene, when they see
hell. Yeah,
flash
definitely.
Of it.
Yeah.
No, it's a great film. And it's not that popular. And I think a lot of people haven't seen it. And if you do see it on Netflix, I'm not sure if it's still on Netflix or Amazon Prime. You need to jump on it because it is a modern classic.
Definitely. And you know, for my birthday this year, my girlfriend got me the officially licensed A24 hand, and the thing is heavy as shit. It's such a great piece. I was going to bring it on, but unfortunately we're moving and it's all packed away. But I was going to bring it on and show you while I was talking about this, but it's the full to scale hand, proper.
So when I see like the A24 logo come up now when I watch a film or a trailer, it gives me the same feeling as Blumhouse used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't get that with Blumhouse anymore.
No,
Definitely not.
same.
But with A24, I get it straight away. Now they are hit or miss, but
What,
I think
A24?
no, there are a few. No, there are a few films that aren't quite
Come
horror.
on.
No,
Yeah,
there
no,
aren't
yeah.
quite horror. A few I don't care about, but it does spark that. Oh, A24. This could be good.
The most underrated A24 film no one's talking about is Lamb. That was such a good film. I loved it.
The what film? Sorry,
Lamb.
Lamb. Oh, I haven't seen that.
No, you wouldn't like it. It's too fancy art house for you.
It's too shit, is it? Yeah.
It's not shit, boy.
Let me tell you. Let me read a few comments. Abigail says, "Talk to Me" absolutely deserves the top spot. Ben Davies, "Talk to Me" is flipping class film. Get your ornaments out, Kurt. Oh, get your ornaments
all packed away.
When he said that, I was thinking the mantelpiece was smashing his head. And I was thinking, oh yeah, your hand. Tyler Adams says, "I haven't seen Talk to Me." What? You got to jump on it. It's great.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, Jill says, "Talk to Me" flipping class film.
Who's he flipping?
Flipping. We're monetized now. John Moran, "I wish my girlfriend wouldn't talk for 10 minutes.
No comment.
Frank Riker, "That's actually not a bad idea for an episode of you gents. Movies you can't watch again or it's ruined."
It's a good shout.
Yeah, we'll have that. Beat them to the punch.
I'll take that, Frank.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll bloody take that one.
And yeah, we'll jump on it before you, and then when you do it, then we'll say, "Hey, is that what I do?"
Yeah.
Eli Cortez, "What's up, Jenks and Curtis?" Hi, Eli. How's it going, buddy?
Eli, how you doing, pal? I haven't spoke to you in a while.
Feels like we haven't been on for ages.
Hope you had a good Christmas, pal, and a happy New Year, mate.
Didn't it feel like we only missed one Sunday, and it feels like we've been away for ages?
Yeah, it does. I was nervous again for live tonight. I had a nervous poo.
Donkey. If I was a teenager and saw what they did in the film, you wouldn't have me grabbing that hand. No way, not at all. 100%. I wouldn't even do a Ouija board. I don't even believe in stuff like that, but I still wouldn't do a seance. I still wouldn't do a Ouija board.
We used to do it all the time on the back of a Monopoly board. We'd make the Ouija board and we'd all be in some abandoned shed, like, and the candles would go out, but you never knew if your mates were fucking about or not, you know?
I've never had a go. I've written 29 horror books. I love horror. I'm too scared to do a Ouija board. 1 second. Yes, that smash face is insane, Ben. Yeah, totally.
It's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when he smashes her face on the mantelpiece.
So that's satisfying. Go.
Yeah.
You know, you don't mind that. That's just funny. It's like yes,
yes.
But again, it's all context. Eli, I haven't seen Talk to Me. Whoa, what's going on here? That's crazy. Donkey, face scene not good. Even I cringed. Yeah, it's a hard watch.
It's horrific.
Ben, I just checked Netflix. Talk to Me is still on there. So at least for the UK, you can watch Talk to Me on the on Netflix. Not
yes,
sure
you can
America.
watch Talk to Me, the greatest movie in the last 25 years on Netflix.
And you can watch Dawn of the Dead remake on YouTube. Yay!
Weigh it up, guys. Weigh it up.
I mean, look, jokes aside.
Look,
how the fuck is that on there?
If it's still on YouTube, no one cares about the film. No one's reported it, right? The guy who made it doesn't care. I'll let him have it.
Do you know what?
If it's the only way they can watch it, let him have it.
I would say, right, Zack Snyder is a massive director, and I think Dawn is still the best thing he's ever done. I don't really care about 300. I like Watchmen a lot. I like Man of Steel, but it's a lot of shit films in his collection.
Watchmen is great. Maybe Watchmen. I think Watchmen may be his best film. It's fantastic.
I wouldn't argue with that, but you know, he's got like the Rebel fucking Moon. Have you seen that shit? Jesus Christ.
Do you know what? I watched it and I thought I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't be asked for part 2, so...
You know what annoys me as well, right, is that so you got this new trend now where they make a version. They did it with Napoleon and they've done it with Rebel Moon, where they release a version and they say a director's cut's coming out next month with an extra hour. that only works if you fall in love with the first one. You can't put a film out and go, oh no, this version, shit, there's another one coming. It's like, no, that doesn't work like that. You got to want more. Like Terminator 2, when that director's cut came out, oh, brilliant, some extra scenes. But you love Terminator 2.
Yeah, even without those scenes.
It's like watching, if you told me now, look, no, street trash, there's a director's cut. An extra hour of trash.
It's got more substance.
It's an extra 2 hours. You love it. I was kidding myself. I drink they drink. Fuck it.
Viper.
Viper. Eli, nice Curtis. I have an umbrella. I have the umbrella.
Do you know what?
Oh, cool.
I just missed out on that set, mate. That one sold out quick. So I only got the standard 4K, and then I had the hand separately. But that's a stunning set from Umbrella at top of their game at the moment.
Jordan Moran, I watched Lamb the other night.
Oh, it's so good.
What is it about again? Give me the gist.
So you've got a couple who live on a farm, and one day a sheep turns up or is born, and it resembles a human. So it's in the shape of a human, but it's got a lamb head. So they start raising it as their own. But this lamb belongs to something that comes to claim it back.
I don't know, you've lost me.
It's a tough one to explain. Well, yeah, I would never recommend it to you, and that's why I've never mentioned it to you, because I know you wouldn't like it.
Ella Star says, Lamb was weird, but in a good way. Oh, fair enough. Ben, have you managed to watch Street Trash 2 yet? I stuck it on the other day and I switched it straight off. It was fucking shit.
I haven't yet because it's not available for me. I've seen it's getting a physical media release, but it's not on Amazon yet. And my only means of watching, if it's not on physical media, is renting it off Amazon, or if it's on any sort of streaming service. Look,
the fact that not even Shudder has it.
Yeah.
Tyler Adams says, not on Netflix over here, talking about Talk to Me. That's a shame, because Netflix in America has got so much more stuff. When I
know.
When I tap into it sometimes, I can see, like, my God, it's about twice as much stuff.
Yeah.
Eli, Jenks is foaming at the mouth waiting for Street Trash 2. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But is it? Well, I suppose it's like a reboot, a sequel. I don't think it matters.
No, it's a sequel. Yeah, I've heard it's a sequel.
I wish they would call things 2 though. It does my head in. Do you know? I know I shouldn't care about shit like this, but when I see Scream 5 and it's just called Scream, it really bugs me.
Yeah, because Scream 6 is called Scream 6.
Yeah, and they could have done the V with the last letter.
I know.
It bugs me.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Ben, I put Lamb on. My missus made me turn it off, and I've forgotten to watch it on my own.
Tut tut.
Tut tut. Street Trash 2 is awesome if you're mentally afflicted.
Oh, who? Come on now. Come on.
Shame. I love love the film Candyman, guys.
Yeah, Candyman's awesome. An absolute classic. There's a shame that the reboot, sequel, remake, I don't know what it was,
You do know, Kurt, that the director of the reboot...
Nia DaCosta.
Yeah,
I know, 28 years later, part 2.
Well, I suppose she's a decent director, probably, but it's probably just a shit script.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't write the script. If she did, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, and I think...
we have just done our top 5. I was nervous doing this one, Jenks. I think you've got a solid top 5. I don't think it's as good as my one, but I wouldn't argue with any of your 5 movies.
Yours are all good films. I wouldn't have put Talk to Me in it. Maybe the top 50.
No, why did you have to go to 50 straight away?
Because there was 100. It was 100 to choose from, so that's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
Top 50.
Yes, but yeah, that's our top 5. If you got anything to comment, what do you think we should have included? Chuck us some comments. We need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your next film you're going to watch, then, Kurt?
Nosferatu tomorrow.
Oh yeah, of course. I also watched. Did post on for our members. I watched Werewolves. I think we'll chat about it next week. But I think you'll love it. It'll be right up your street.
My brother messaged me and recommended it. I obviously know about the film. I've been looking forward to it. Again, it's just not available for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Nosferatu. I've been craving Dracula the last week, so I put on Bram Stoker's Dracula last night, and I didn't get on with it at all. It's such a mess. It's all over the place. If you're not well clued up on the lore of Dracula, you're going to be lost. It's just all over the place. The shots are weird. The sets are all fucked. So I got about halfway through that one and I thought, I'm not doing it. So I went and watched Matt Gattis's BBC Dracula.
It's brilliant.
3 episodes.
So
I thought, the third one is the weak link. But I turned that off. I still needed Dracula. So I put on probably one of the best adaptations of Dracula.
Yeah.
Specifically those first 2 episodes. Obviously the first episode's in the castle and the second episode is on the Demeter. Fantastic stuff, guys. If you haven't seen BBC's Dracula, highly recommend it.
So for me, like the guy who plays Dracula, Bang, something his name is. I don't know what his surname is, but when I watched it, he's a bit old, but I thought, God, he'd be a good James Bond. He's got that gravitas. He's probably about 10 years too old, but he's got the look. He's got the look.
Yeah.
It's not
handsome, but rugged.
It's not that
like
he's
Daniel
too old.
Craig.
Yeah, it's not that he's too old, but if they're going to churn out 4 films, they kind of have to get him in their late 30s at the most. It's a great. I really didn't like the third one. It was just too silly. When they had Wi-Fi password was Dracula in the facility, and I was just like, this is fucking shit. It reminded me of like modern Doctor Who, but the first 2, especially the second one, I loved that sort of. It's kind of like a murder mystery set in a boat. It's not a mystery. Obviously, Dracula's killing everybody. But it's got that vibe of a whodunit. And I would highly recommend that. I think it might be on Netflix in UK. I'm not 100%. Probably not.
I think it was at one point. I'm not sure if it's still there now.
Could be on iPlayer, though, if it's BBC.
Yeah. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah. Just read a few of these comments. John Moran, Let the Right One In is the best for me. But both your lists were smashing. Yeah, it's a great film. When did that come out? The first one, the original. Yeah, it was. Early noughties.
Yeah, early noughties, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. Tyler Adams. I've seen Nosferatu twice. I liked it more the second time. Yes,
go win.
Yeah, fair play. That's commitment.
I've heard that from a lot of people. You need to see it twice to fully appreciate it. I probably won't go to cinema to see it twice. It's over 2 hours, but you know me, Jenks, I love going back and rewatching films. So I'll definitely get a couple of watches in.
I gotta say, like, the makeup on Bill Skarsgård is absolutely phenomenal. And what makes it really good is that you see him just enough. The lighting is really low. When you see the trailer, it almost looks like a black and white film. There's a lot of blue lights and things like that.
A lot of blue, yeah.
But even though you might think that some of he's in the shadow so often that you think, well, maybe the makeup is not as good as it looks. You do see it eventually, and you're like, fuck me, that is incredible. Like, they've really worked hard on that. And his performance, I'm not even sure if it's his voice, because it's so deep. Now,
it's got to be his voice.
It could be.
It's got to be.
But when you watch it, Kurt, I won't say any more, but when you watch it, you'll probably think the same thing.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe they tinker with his voice. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd say probably tinkered. I don't think they would have got someone else in to do the voice. But yeah, if anything, tinkered. Yeah. He's a fantastic voice actor. I mean, look at his voice in Pennywise. Completely transformed his voice. Although I do hear Pennywise now and again in his other movies.
I also hear Pennywise in Winnie the Pooh as well.
Yeah, definitely. yeah.
Oh, and a bit of Scooby-Doo as well.
Yeah, well, that's a popular one. A lot of people compare it to Scooby-Doo. Piss off! I'm not having it.
I think we're out the comments, Kurt. I think there's. Should we wrap it up there? So 20 minutes. Right, great show, guys. I really appreciate everybody jumping on. Next week, fingers crossed, we're going to get Maxwell Horror on the show. We're going to get a guest.
Maxwell King, yeah.
Maxwell King. And yeah, we tried to get him on last year, but schedule issues and things. But we're hopefully going to get him on next week.
We're big enough now to say scheduling issues. Sorry, guys, there's been some scheduling issues. We couldn't quite fit it in.
So we were going to do some kind of theme, but because we've never really chatted with him, I think we're just going to do a horror Q&A. Because it was difficult with Splattercast a few weeks ago. We went to chat to him. We had so much to talk about, but we were trying to do the Evil Dead at the same time. And
it was a hard one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we just learned. We're still new to this, and it was a lesson learned. I think because we've done lots of things like Davey Death Ray, we can do themes because we can jump on and we kind of know each other. But first ones need to be a Q&A, I think.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Let me just read this comment, Kurt. Before we wrap it up, Tyler Adams, I saw an interview where he mentioned practicing, I'm going to say this correctly now. Mongolian, I'll say it wrong. Mongolian throat singing to work on his voice. All right.
Yeah, definitely. The guy's a stud, like.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's a proper perfectionist.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on, Ben.
Yeah, appreciate that. Great stream. Looking forward to next week. Yeah, we're on next week. Sorry.
Yes, just a quick one as well, guys. I don't expect everyone to jump on every live we do, but we're going to be going to 2 lives soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, Jenks, just when we start sorting things out. But we're hoping to be going live every Wednesday and every Sunday. But obviously, we'd love to see you all there. But yeah, hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be seeing you a lot more on these lives.
Yeah. Eli Clout says, don't forget to slash that like button and subscribe to this amazing channel. Jenks and Curtis are freaking awesome. I love it. Thanks, buddy.
Top man, Eli, pal. Thank you.
Now, we have a membership tier. We have 2 tiers. We have a 99 cents one and a $4.99 one. So the first tier, we've got emojis. We do shorts. We do lots of little things here, and now you can check it out on the description. And with the $4.99 one, we're going to start doing exclusive live shows, and we've got loads of videos on there now, and we're keeping adding all the time.
Yeah.
But check it out. It's in the description. But yeah, thanks, guys. We'll wrap it up.
Cheers, all.
Right. See you next week. Appreciate it.
Still here.
Still here. Hang on.
Oh, come on, Jenks.
I couldn't do it.